Busy parents, I know you're not struggling with your health because you don't care about it. It's really because you are trying to take strategies that are operating around a health plan that is not built for your actual life. It's built around predictable schedules, uninterrupted sleep, and having extra time. And let's just be honest, parents, that is not our life. We don't have a lot of consistency besides the fact that there is inconsistency. We don't have uninterrupted sleep. I mean, if you do, hey, that's great. But if you have kids, I'm willing to bet you don't. So that's what I'm going to go over today. The parenting system that I use, that my team uses, and that our clients use with success to make it sustainable and realistic for life. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to start with actual story. Literally, I had to pivot this office hours and this actual live stream because of this exact example. Normally we do it on Tuesdays at a particular time. And because life is going to throw curveballs, I had to move everything. I literally had to drop my entire day because we just moved in yesterday to a new home. And because of that, we were packing. Our person and the team we had packing, unfortunately, had to pivot on us. So we had to shift things. I had to change my entire schedule. And that means I not only had to change my work, I had to change our childcare time. I also had to change my workouts and everything related to that. So I know what it's like. And that's what we're going to dive into is not only a system, but a system that applies for a life that has to adjust, that has to pivot how we're going to approach that. As I'm going through this, if you guys have questions, you're watching this live, feel free to drop the questions live. But also, if you're watching the replay of this, still ask in comments, ask your questions, put in comments, because I will circle back. And the goal is to add value for you at the end of the day. So, number one, parents face real barriers, not just a motivation problem. So let's unpack that. It's not that you're not motivated. You're realistically just facing problems that are challenging your bandwidth. We obviously care about our health, okay? Because you want to be there for your kids. This is the number one thing I hear from parents, especially dads that I work with, is you care about your health because you want a longer quality of life so you can be there and share it with your kids. So obviously it's not that you don't care. If it was just a motivation problem, if it was just a you caring thing, it wouldn't be an issue. It's a matter of, and especially when we look at studies and meta-analysis, it goes back down to the perception and the reality consistency around things we identify with, which is having a lack of time, having issues with the actual childcare around, well, what are my kids going to do when I'm working out? Feeling fatigue. It's not that, again, we don't care. It's just the actual fatigue of life. Ultimately having demands in the work capacity and the professional capacity, and other priorities that come up combined with a lack of planning. So being able to have all of this put together, you are going to fail unless you have a system in place. So what does that mean? So this is like the awareness part of it. And I'm always going to take this formula. There's an aggregate that I've put together is having awareness, having clear intention, being able to take action, and then having scheduled accountability with whatever capacity feels good for you guys. And again, loving the comments. I appreciate it. So number one, let's talk about the action. What repeatedly knocks you off your routine? Let's start with that by asking that question. What do you routinely run into as far as knocking you off your routine? Think about it. And again, it's going to look different for everyone watching, but there's going to be a common theme. Something is knocking you off your routine. And more than likely, if you take the data over the last year, it's probably going to be a handful of things, usually 1 to 3 things that are going to routinely come up. Here's a couple of examples that probably come up is your workday gets shifted. You didn't get a good night's sleep. You have issues with childcare. Someone's sick. You have to pivot. Something's going on. You didn't meal prep or you didn't have your food prep and or there's leftovers with your kids. And maybe there's travel going on. So all of these things put together is going to impact your ability to stick to a routine. And because of that, you need to have a plan B. You need to have a system in place that you can replicate and utilize, which part of that system is basically going to be redefining your floor. What I mean by that, the floor is what's our baseline buy-in, the non-negotiables, as it were. Instead of it's, I have to be able to work out for an hour, 3 to 5 times a week, Sure, that's great. But realistically, that's not going to consistently happen the rest of your life, or at least not during this stage of being a parent. So, how do we redefine, rebuild the floor, as it were, the baseline we're operating off of, the non negotiables? This come off in different points. It may be a 10-minute walk or some version of just movement. It doesn't even have to be one clear defined thing. Do 10 minutes of movement. It could be yoga. It could be shadow boxing. It could be band work. It could be any type of mobility. It could be walking. It could be shadow boxing and jump rope. It could be a variety of different things. Maybe it's not even 10 minutes. Maybe it's an active. I'm going to do one set of 10 squats, one set of 5 push-ups, one pull-up every time I walk by the pull-up bar in my apartment, in my house, in my home. Clearly defining what's your baseline floor that you're going to do in a repeated fashion. So here's the interesting part to this. We're going to leverage some research here. So it's not just me telling you what to do. It's based on actual replicable meta-analysis data and what I've seen as well as what others have seen on this. So adults can accumulate meaningful health benefits through shorter bouts of movement across the day. A systemic review found broadly similar benefits when activity was accumulated in shorter bursts, i.e. 3, 5, or 10-minute windows, versus completed in one continuous session, 45 to 60 minutes. Newer reviews also support short exercise bouts are as useful as the longer versions. And this is a time-efficient strategy. So basically, instead of saying, hey, I need to do one 30 to 45-minute workout, I can do 3 to 6, 5 to 10-minute blocks of exercise, and I will gain the benefits. There you go. The math is mathing, right? Get your 10 minutes on here times 3, you get your 30 minutes. That's your buy-in for the day potentially. So again, 10 minutes is not nothing. This is where I want you to reframe your thinking, because this is what I'll also hear with. It's like, oh, well, what is 10 minutes going to do? It's like, well, 10 minutes by itself once ever is not going to do anything. But 10 minutes compounded in a system is going to be compoundable and asset driving. When I say asset driving, it's like, think of it if you were putting money into an account or you're making an investment, you're building something here. You're having something. That's not just, again, by itself nothing. It's something that's going to compound in a system and build value. So I'll break down the example here and how it takes action. Let's start with number 1, plan A, perfect world. You're going to get a full, gym session in 45 to 60 minutes. That's like plan A, perfect world. Great. We can do that 3 to 6 times a week. I'm sorry, 3 to 5 times a week. 6 if you're really getting after it, right? That's kind of over the top. Plan B, a 20-minute home workout. You can't make it to the gym. You're going to do 20 minutes. You're going to bust out your bands. You're going to do calisthenics, whatever. Plan C, absolute. This is our floor. This is our no matter what, non-negotiable. 5 to 10 minutes of walking, mobility, or some kind of movement. But that is the 3 levels and the 3 tiers in how we approach a system. And then guess what? That 5 to 10 minutes, you can replicate that 3 to 6 times throughout the day, and you'll still get a 30-minute workout. Even if you can't do that, just get in a 5 to 10-minute block of something around your movement. So that's, again, how we break this plan A, B, and C down into different strategies. We have a movement version of it. Now let's talk about the same thing for food. In a perfect world, you've prepped your food. I'm going to give you an example after this with today as part of that. So in a perfect world, plan A, you prepared your food, or you have meal prep designed ahead of time. Plan B, you're going to rely on some intermediaries. You're going to have maybe a protein shake. You're going to maybe grab a handful of fruit. You're going to grab a to-go yogurt from the store or something out of the fridge. You're maybe going to have a sandwich, or you're going to have leftovers. Plan C is a simple, convenient option with protein and produce. So it's maybe you're eating out, maybe you're mishmashing it together while you're traveling. But again, you have these tiered systems and approaches you can utilize. Number 1, again, we had a prepared meal, something that was planned, something that was intentional, that aligned with, let's say, macros in a perfect world with our coaching system, what we plan to do. Then being able to say, hey, maybe we didn't have time. Like today's a perfect example. I had time in the morning, kind of had my regular routine for breakfast, but then I had a call. Normally I wouldn't work even on Sundays, right? I had to impromptu because we moved yesterday. And being able to pivot, I was going with protein shakes, and I was able to go with a little like portion of yogurt. So I got some like plain Greek yogurt. Okay, normally I don't necessarily do that, but it's a simple grab and go option. Now, even in a worst case, what I would do is I would have like, this is what I did yesterday. I had a Chipotle order. I have a pretty staple, like go-to Chipotle order that's going to be high in protein. I get my fruits, I get my veggies, I get my fiber in, and it's just gets the job done. So the point is having plans in place for each of these and anticipate you're eventually going to need this. Not, oh, I have to figure this out last minute because now all of a sudden I'm thrusted into the situation. Recognize it and then be able to take action on it. I'm going to pause and I'm going to see you hit me with that question. What you guys got? Yeah, Rob, I see you got a question. Let me know what's up. And then we'll go into recovery after this. I'm also going to take a moment here to hydrate. And that's a key component. Even with the food side, it's like, make sure you're hydrating. That's a simple step, pretty accessible. All right, now let's talk about oh, this is a good one. Is it better to have proteins and veggies or pie? Well, I'm gonna hit you with the 3 P's right now. So this actually ties into our food. Ready? There's 3 P's that you guys can live by. If you do one thing, if you just do this, it will literally like sustain you. So you have protein, you have produce, and you have pleasure. So you get your protein in, protein shake, you get chicken, whatever, eggs, fish, whatever it looks like for you, beans. You get your produce, so again, fruits and vegetables, and then have something pleasurable. Like for me, it's going to be a peanut butter cup. Maybe it's peanut butter pie. Maybe it's apple pie, whatever. But have something with pleasure to it as well. Now, that doesn't mean hammer desserts and sweets all day, every day, but being able to have protein, have produce, and have pleasure in your meals and in a daily basis, you will have sustainability. And if you're building with protein and produce first, you will also be able to have pleasure, and you're not going to overeat to the point where it's probably going to negatively impact your body composition. There's a great video Alex Ramosi put out a couple of years ago. He's like, he hasn't skipped dessert in like 10 years. And if you break down the video, I'll save you guys all of it. He basically talks about, yes, make sure you have dessert so you have some pleasure in there. But also make sure your macros and your calories align so you can enjoy that dessert. Yeah, and I got life is my stimulant, by the way. That's the fun of just living life. And oh yeah, right to your point. Let's go, Knicks. Knicks took it in 5, right? Let's get it. I'm not even a basketball fan, but having been from and being from New York, I got to give a shout out to the Knicks. So let's dive into the recovery side. So we covered movement, covered food. We're going to go over recovery as well, because guess what? You can do all the training you want and you can eat all the food, but if you're not sleeping, if your body's not recovering, you're not building muscle, you're not actually having the body composition that you want. So ideally, plan A, it starts with a full night of sleep and a regular nighttime routine. But let's be real, that doesn't really happen that often, especially when you have kids. We've got 4 kids under the age of 8. We're not typically having a full night of sleep with uninterrupted things and or a consistent routine without something going on. If you do, great. Have a full nighttime routine. Have that. Have it even planned. And if it goes that way, great. But then have your plan B. Okay, screens off 30 minutes before bed is an example of that. And or, okay, we're going to move our shower or bath time back a little bit and use it as like calming mechanism. Or we go for a nighttime walk. We're having a really hard time settling down. We're going to go for a walk and reset ourselves a little bit. Plan C, all right, this is absolute emergency. 5 deep breaths. Lights are off. Put our phone screens away, all that fun stuff. So we're not getting more stimuli. Or in an extreme example, what I'm doing is like, I just removed the TV from our living room. We just moved. I'm not putting a TV in the living room anymore. So we're just not even gonna have that as a distraction. And then Rob's got some actual real education on sleeping advice. Let's piggyback on that. Sleep routine is non-existent. Yeah, bartending in New York, working in healthcare during day 3. Yeah, so I know your schedule, Rob. You're crazy. Rob's got a full New York. I'll call this the Manhattan special of he's bartending, so he's got one side of work, and then he's also got like your kind of other responsibility in healthcare, which is also can be stressful and taxing. So the key is, if that sleep schedule rotates and you're doing overnights or whatever, is start to find if-then parameters. Like, okay, I don't wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock at night every day. What we build around is, okay, an hour before I want to go to sleep, I do X, Y, or Z. And then within an hour of waking up every day, I do X, Y, or Z. So I'll give you my version of that. Okay, whatever time I'm trying to go to bed, I stop watching screens an hour before bed, whether it's TV, laptop, phone. I turn my screens off an hour before bed, no matter what. That's that. So that can shift with you no matter what time you're trying to go to bed. Then in the morning, Within an hour of waking up, I do three things. I have coffee, I take my supplement, coffee and supplements really together. I will journal and go through my planner, and then I move my body for like at least 5 minutes. Those are no matter what non-negotiables in the first hour of waking up pretty much every day. And then that same thing non-negotiable an hour before bed every night. So yeah, dude, that's an intense schedule. So let's just take Rob's example here as well. She's got bartending 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. 3 nights a week. Telehealth 6 to 6. So you got 3 12s. Hoping to get approval to move healthcare to overnight shifts. Nice. So the point is, you're living that nighttime life. So even here, if let's say you want to go to bed by 7 a.m., you're going to cut off screens by 6 a.m. Okay. And then if you have to be up for 4 p.m. to get to work, again, I'm just kind of making this up here. For that 4 p.m., within the first hour, you're going to have a standard protocol, whatever that protocol looks like. For you, Rob, I say maybe you get outside and go skating or something, especially in New York right now. Skating's nice. Get your scooter on. 100% not going to do well in 6 years. However, it's not too late. This is the cool part. You can start to make your adjustments. And again, start with, this is the other side that happens a lot, even though, Rob, you don't have kids. I mean, you got a cat, so basically you're a parent. Here's what we try and do. We try and go to extremes. You're like, all right, now I have to overcompensate because I've been just out of it for so long. That's not going to be realistic. Exactly. I'll tell you not how to live your life, but I'll give you some insight. Be able to start with the floor, the baseline stuff. What's the stuff you can sustain? Think about the sustainable stuff in your food, in your movement, in your recovery. All right. So now let's focus on the, again, action recap. Here's what I want you to do. If there's one thing you take away from all of this is have your plan B ready to go. Don't just have plan A in a perfect world. Have your plan B written down today, tonight, right now. Whenever you're watching this, have a plan B you can write down. It's great to have a plan A, but guess what? You need a plan B. And ideally, you have a plan C ready to go as complete backup, but you need a plan B. And if you are struggling, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. If you are struggling to get a plan B and a plan C down, you should look at coaching or some additional support, because guess what? It's not going to get easier or better if you don't have anything beyond a plan A. That's why we have our coaching. Now, whether it's, again, coaching with me or my team, or you get some other coaching, you don't believe in me for whatever reason, you're like, this guy doesn't know. Get some kind of coaching and support, because guess what? If you don't have a plan B and a plan Z, you will run into the same problem. You're going to have your system break, you're going to fail, and you're going to feel like it's a motivation issue when really it's just a system and a replication thing. I love it. Plan B, plan Bob. Bob knows. So this is where I'll do the coaching plug. Get coaching, get support. We've got you guys. I'll jump on a call with you, schedule. It won't cost you anything. We'll just talk through, will this make sense? And then we'll lay out all the strategic options you can have. I have an entire team that will support you. We have systems in play. We have everything you could possibly think of and that you can need, and take all the guesswork out of it. And then on top of that, make it sustainable. Okay. This is the other piece I think is really important that I just want to highlight for you guys is before you start chasing fat loss and body composition changes, really protect your bandwidth, your energy, and your fun. This is something that I feel like parents and I sleep on to this day is, what are you doing for fun? Why is this going to be enjoyable? Like, do you want to live the rest of your life this way? I'm for real. I'm telling you, I'm for real here, Payden. You need to make it fun and enjoyable. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And your kids are going to feel it. They're not going to want to be like whatever it is you're forcing on them, because they're going to be like, this guy's miserable. Why should I trust what they have to do? So again, whatever is draining your bandwidth, your capacity, your battery, you need to address that. So let's think about it. What is draining your capacity most right now? For you, Rob, it's sleep. For me, it's not having enough fun. I'm going to be honest with you guys. So let's address that first. For me, that's one of the big reasons why we moved where we did, and why I'm really excited about the move is I'm now, instead of 40 minutes away from my favorite gym to train out of, I'm 15 minutes away. And it's not just the gym, it's the community, the MMA community I get to be a part of. Plus the actual place I moved into, this apartment complex, has a dope fitness center. So literally I'm 2 minutes away from a gym now, walking 2 minutes, versus I have a great home gym setup. I have bands and I was doing that. So that was not really as much of the problem, but now building some excitement and fun and building a community around it is one thing I'm looking forward to as well. So the fun piece of it and being able to get into more outdoor activities, kayaking. We're going to do some like disc golf. There's some interesting capacities we're going to explore. But again, for parents, if you're low on sleep and you are just drained, but you're chasing fat loss, you're going to keep running into the same thing. You're going to have food cravings. You're going to be burnt out. You're not going to be able to make it sustainable. You're going to fall into an all or nothing loop, whether you're like all in for a period of time, you burn yourself out, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to cheat. And you just eat an entire pizza pie and you smash ice cream and you feel like a bad person. You're like, I'll start again on Monday. And then Monday doesn't come and you just jump back on that same loop. And then you're gaining and losing the same 15, 20, 30 pounds. And, or maybe you don't lose it and you're just gaining more weight. And you're just going through that pattern and you're just hating it more and more and more. And then before you know it, 10 years have gone by, you've gained 30 pounds, you're miserable, your blood pressure's up, you might be pre-diabetic or you have type 2 diabetes now, and you don't know where it went wrong. It didn't go wrong in any one particular spot. It was a system that you didn't address that was created over enough time that you get to now right that wrong. And that's what I'm inviting for you guys here. So let's pause. Let's check into the comments, see if you got any questions here. So that's me just going hard and everyone just being silly geese. I think we're going to keep it moving forward. Okay, so here's the key line for that, the key takeaways. Sometimes the best fitness decision is not adding another workout. It's reducing the thing that's draining your ability to follow through. For me, it's just not having enough fun, honestly. So by reducing the things draining my abilities, reducing my key responsibilities and more, because I have this desire to do more. And a lot of parents, you could probably say like, all right, let's do more. We have more. Let's just push through it. Or maybe you're like, hey, I have to do this, which is not, you do need to work out. You do need to be able to do these things, but also being able to create and hold space for what you want. One workout by itself isn't going to make or break anything, but being able to take the time to have a system will sustain. The other cool part is making a deposit with one workout, one even 5-minute little action will gain some momentum. So there's something to be said for that. So I don't want to completely ignore that. So ultimately, the key takeaway I would invite as another actionable is A, write down a plan B and have that ready to go right now. And if you can't figure out a plan B for your food, for your movement, for your recovery, come talk to me, come talk to my team. We'll get you set up. You genuinely need that. I'm going to be honest with you. And again, if it's not me, find another coach, but just take care of that, address that, or you will be in trouble long-term. You'll be F basically. The other side is integrate it into your family lifestyle. That's the one thing I appreciate about all my kids is they all enjoy some form of physical movement, whether it's Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, whether it's being able to do ballet, whether it's being able to just balance and do handstands, whether it's being able to race or run or be able to climb, or it's being able to get into these fun different adventures. Like there's movement, or playing on the playground, there's movement related to this. So integrating it into a lifestyle. When you bring your kids to the playground, don't just sit there and mess around on your phone. Go play with them. Or start busting out some body weight exercises. If you feel silly, guess what? You're probably going to inspire someone else that feels silly. Give it a go. What's up, Dina? So again, make it a family lifestyle. Integrate it into their life. Pick one activity you can share together and then do that. Start with that on a weekly basis. So the key is your kids don't only hear what you tell them about health, that they should be eating healthy foods, they should be moving more. They watch you do it and they do it with you. You show them and do it with them. So, hey, all right, like for example, my kids, I'm like, all right, we're going to go to Rogue today. Let's go get on the jiu-jitsu mats. Let's go have some fun. Or now that we live in the new apartment complex, all right, guys, let's go down to the fitness studio and go down to the gym. And obviously we're going to be there with them. Let's hit some pads. Let's mess around. Let's play and make it games, make it fun. Let's play tag. There's actually a really cool outdoor gym setup we have here, which is awesome. We get to integrate that as well. Plus we have a pool. There's a lot of fun activities we can do. And then being able to make food as automatic as possible. Here's an interesting data point. On average, a typical human will make about 200 plus nutrition choices a day. So the goal is to reduce those choices as much as possible. So automate it with meal prep, with systems, with routine, and with refined things that you can repeat that also provide novelty. So for example, I have a protein at every meal. I have produce at every meal. I have something enjoyable at every single meal and or on a daily basis. And I have something with fiber. So being able to say, all right, cool, what's my protein? Chicken. All right, now what's my produce? I'm going to have broccoli or Brussels sprouts is one of my favorite. What do I enjoy as far as pleasurable? So then I'm going to have like a balsamic vinaigrette. That sounds so good. Tastes so good. And or if I'm being real with you guys, like I like homemade peanut butter cups. So I'm going to make some homemade peanut butter cups. I'm going to have a serving of a peanut butter cup. It's going to be like my dessert. And then being able to have something with fiber. There's whether it's like rice and beans, I love doing that combo together. Being able to have these like high fiber wraps, I really enjoy. Maybe it's some fruit, like an apple or something like that. Being able to get these things that hit those marks, and then you don't have to think about it. I've literally eaten the same dinner for over 2 years now, which is ground turkey. It's black and or pinto or some versions of beans. I'd be able to throw in a chili powder that's just basic herbs and seasoning. And then I throw in peppers and onions. And that's been more or less the thing I eat every single night for the last like 2 years. Sometimes we'll eat out, we'll rotate that. But again, it's something I don't have to think about. And then in the morning, I have protein with my coffee. That's something I do every single day. Protein shake with coffee. I don't have to think about it. So the goal is to try and take out the thinking as much as possible and being able to have anchor meals. And then the same thing with your kids, being able to have things that they enjoy. Like our kids like dino nuggies and peas and carrots. So we have certain things we'll rotate, but when in doubt, we have that as a plan B. Cool, I know we'll have this. Or like we do breakfast for dinner. So being able to make protein pancakes, being able to have hard-boiled eggs, and being able to have peas and carrots. That's another classic staple that we get to work through. So meal prep is not only, again, a nutrition tool, but it's a bandwidth tool. Have these things in place so you don't have to think about it, and it's not another stressor in your day, because you're going to avoid it if it feels like stress, and you're going to seek escape if it feels like stress, which is getting takeout, which is spending more money than you need to. Yeah, sometimes I do feel like I'm talking to myself. I'm not gonna lie. Talking to the wall over here, Bobby. So again, just bring it home. This is from the nutrition side where the 3 Ps come in: protein, produce, pleasure. Be able to integrate that every time you put something into your body. And then when it goes back to the action, have a foundation of movement. Even if it's 5 minutes, have a plan A, but really have a plan B in place. And then last but not least, be able to have your environment set up for success. So for example, I mentioned peanut butter cups. I don't want to eat Reese's anymore. I like eating this other brand. I believe it's called Unreal. And then I also make my own homemade version. So I don't buy Reese's and I don't keep them in the house because I don't want to have them. So that's just setting up the environment for success. Leaving your workout clothes where you're going to see them, or having bands out where they're visible so I can do that workout, or having my water bottle out in the morning, or having my protein shake out with my coffee. These are some of the environmental cues that I use. And just literally protecting the time in my schedule. All right, let's recap all this for you guys. And I'm going to see if you got any other questions or anything like that. But just to recap again, the actions, if there's one thing you can do, have a plan B for your workouts, for your food, and for your sleep and recovery. If you don't have a plan B, you are going to be effed from life, especially with your kids. So here's the kind of 5 parts again. Identify the barrier. Number 1, what normally derails you, that's the thing you get to build around first and foremost. Number 2, define the floor. What's the minimum effective dose? What's the non-negotiable we're going to start with? Number 3, what's your backup plan? What's your plan B and plan C? Number 4, protect your capacity and your bandwidth. Ideally, it's with having fun. Be able to have fun first, and you'll be surprised what happens to your energy. And last, be able to get back to the action when life ultimately gets disrupted. That's something I guess I kind of skipped over. I was talking about the design, the environment component of it, but that also ties back into when life inevitably lives and you travel or you get disrupted, get back to it as soon as possible. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the same exact thing, but like even if you reduce it by a third. So for example, you're going to the gym 5 times a week, get back to the gym once for the next week. If you're going to the gym 3 times a week, get back to the gym once the next week. Just reduce it by a third, get back to it. And that's where your environment supports you too. Set up your environment to support you with that. So here's something I'm going to give you guys as a little bit of a fun challenge you can take away. I want you guys to try this over the next 7 days. 10 minutes of movement daily. Have protein first at every meal, especially your first meal of the day. Stack it up with protein. And again, that's going to look different for everyone. So the easiest way is to get a palm's worth of protein. If you don't know what that means, just look it up, check the resources below. I've got you guys. We got some free resources on that. Have water before you take in your coffee and your caffeine in the morning, 16 ounces ideally, first thing in the morning before you take in any caffeine. Be able to have a family movement activity at least once per week. And then lastly, one environment change you are going to make right now, today, right after, or even while you're watching this. Do one environmental change. That's my challenge for you over the next 7 days. All right, I'll leave it at that. Again, remember, you don't need a health plan that only works when things are perfect. You need it for when life is going to life. You need one that still gives you the next step during the chaos, during the sick days, during your travel weeks, and on an overloaded work week. For example, this week when I had to pivot, I was still able to get 5 out of 5 workouts in. I was still able to pivot and get my nutrition in, stay hydrated. Again, I'm not saying this to brag or say that I'm perfect. I'm clearly not. The point is, having a system in play allows it to make it sustainable. Literally, we moved this week and it was chaos, but I was still able to get into things that I needed to, even from a work side, from a life side, from a personal side, from a health side, making this space for it. Look, I even got this live stream in, even though it's Sunday at 7 o'clock now at night. I'm actually about to go hop and check out the UFC fights that are going down like an hour, but I wanted to get on here, share that with you guys. And again, if you don't know how to fit in some of these pieces, just go to our website, lifestyleoffitness.com, schedule a call with me. Let's chat. I'll send you in the right direction, whether it's working with me, working with someone on our team, or maybe it's not working with us at all, send you in another direction. We're saying, hey, what you're doing is actually working. Just keep doing that, believe in yourself, and keep showing up. But ultimately, it's about taking the action. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see you, Joe. Let's see what we got. 7-week challenge, guys. Step up. Let's go. Joe knows what's up. I appreciate that, dude. I'm down. Whoa, dang, down from 355 to 272. Get some. So that's what, 80 pounds, 83 pounds. Let's go, dude. I'm proud of you, man. Kudos for taking action. What has been the most impactful thing you think from being able to kind of make that in your life? Yeah, it's a 7-day challenge. Over the next week, man, take action. Got this, y'all. And then, hey, if you can replicate that, do it for the next 7 weeks, then do it for 7 months, then do it for 7 years, and just make it keep happening. But I'm going to pause there. And fasting and food choice. So yeah, it sounds like intention and action, man. So you have awareness, you took some fasting, did some food choices. Was it more like intermittent fasting? You doing like a 16-8? Was it like doing 24, 36? What was the fasting looking like, if you don't mind me asking? And then if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them. But that's pretty much it for the actual topics. I'm just fascinated to see if, Jerry, you got some extra insight to share here. But again, one thing I will offer for you guys is the framework I mentioned: awareness, intention, action, accountability. Have awareness to what you actually want to do. Okay. So have awareness to what's actually happening. For example, jump on the scale. Look at what your actual weight is right now, your body fat percentage, your blood pressure, your fasting blood sugar levels, like whatever the thing is you care about, have awareness around, measure it, then have an intention. What do you actually want to change? And why is that the case? Why is that important to you? Then be able to take action on that, the things that are going to lead to that over time, and then have accountability, schedule accountability, whether it's friends, whether it's with a coach, whomever, wherever, but have scheduled accountability. Your increase of success is going to be anywhere from 60 to 95% more. Oh, what's going on, dude? So good to see you. What's up? Yes, UFC soon. Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, no carbs or sugar, but oh, dang. So yeah, so 4 hours. So you're doing, okay. So you're doing a 4-hour feeding window and then no carb sugar, except for 1 meal a week. You're having that. And again, this is what I was saying. That's obviously giving you results. Now the goal is to find what is going to be sustainable in that. And maybe that's sustainable for you, Joe. I'm not here to criticize that, but like finding the transition of what feels sustainable is going to be the key component, and how you can replicate that over time. And if that is sustainable, dude, keep getting after it. That's awesome. And if not, that's okay. We'll continuously create a plan B and make adjustments so you don't have to continuously add the stress components of it. But yeah, I'm going to bring it home from here. I appreciate everyone. Thanks for jumping in, Joe. It's great to see you. Also, I'm just going to say proud American. I won't throw your real name out there unless you want me to, but it's good to see you as well. Also, you can see your transformation on our Instagram as well. The before and after, man, it's unreal. So proud of you. Yeah, it feels good, but I feel like I did more, be more. Yeah, dude, that's the interesting balance, man. It's like, you could always say you could do more, but like continuously just make it sustainable. Have patience, keep getting after it. And yeah, I love you too, dude. Keep getting after it. I appreciate you. That's going to do it for us here. I'm going to go, I still got I'm lying. I'm making it sound like I'm just going to be done and then jump. I actually have some wrap up work to take care of, and then I'm going to head back home, and then hopefully we'll watch some of the UFC fights. But with that being said, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Later, y'all. Bye.